Castleton is a village located within the Peak District National Park. With its charm and vast history, it is considered a popular tourist destination. When journeying through to the centre of the village, quaint cottages closely built create intimate pathways, and with a rushing river running alongside it, it feels magical, like you've gone back in time. On this day, the weather was foggy and with a slight chill in the air. Meandering through the winding paths, there's evidence throughout that this village has developed over time. From when Peveril Castle was built in 1086, the village has slowly grown and adapted, evolving into what we see today, which focus wholly on the human aspect, including homes, shops and parking. But once at the top of the village, it becomes a completely different scenery. Directly behind someone's home, large rock faces tower above as you walk through. Every crevice has a fern or moss or even trees growing. It's like tall buildings in a city centre that hide the sun, but here it feels magical and unusual, as the size of natural or rural spaces engenders different human responses to similarly sized urban places. Ahead is a vast scenic gully known as Cave Dale, where the fog is heavy and makes for low visibility, creating mystery and intrigue, almost like someone somewhere could be watching. The unknown is enticing yet spooky. A vague outline of the tops of the hills and the rocky edges can be made out, where Peveril Castle sits atop looking down on us. It's now part of the grey, misty skyline, reminding us that this is a major historical site, a perfect spot for a castle with its high point advantage for watching below. You can imagine how much has happened in the very spot we're stood in, also allowing us to wander even further back in time to how this beautiful part of the peaks was worn away by the water many years ago, creating this site where the water still trickles down now. The path is rocky underfoot, so walking slower than usual is unavoidable, but allows you to stop and look around at how nature has been left to its own devices and how silent the air is, with just a quiet murmur of water can be heard. Up ahead, the path gets steeper, the water gets faster and louder, and the rocks get bigger underfoot. The higher up we go, the narrower it gets. Eventually, we stop to turn around and realise how high up we are, as other walkers almost appear as dots through the fog, noticing how us, the watched, have now become the watcher.
As we moved from the valley onto the ridge, our pace quickened as the uneven stony paths turned to spongy grass underfoot. Gone were the towering rock forms that had enclosed us on either side just seconds earlier, with the space now opening up before us, the sky enveloping us. At the summit of the ridge we were able to look down on the valley, like an abyss below. The sense that the watched had become the watchers brought to mind Joe Appleton's prospect refuge theory. Here, looking down, particularly as we were hidden within the fog, we were able to see without being seen. Then Peveril Castle, a vague, ethereal shape silhouetted against the sky, loomed before us, like a vision from Macbeth. There having been so few signs of human influence since we left the town, this beacon of human history drew us towards it. Modern man has no business in such an inhospitable place, its only contribution to the landscape now a barbed wire fence and garish sign, warning us of the sheer drop beyond. Undoubtedly enhanced by the foggy conditions, the crumbling castle gave the ridge's summit an eerie feel, the atmosphere thick with the sense of the passing of time and the changing relationship between humanity and landscape. Just beyond the castle was a dense woodland with a very different feel to the wooded areas that had gone before. The numerous species of conifer and non-native trees made it clear that this was a woodland planted by people, and it was an indication, albeit a gentle one, that we were moving back towards a human-dominated landscape. As the fog lifted and we drew nearer to human habitation, dry stone walls, houses, roads, and a patchwork of farmed fields dominated once more. And with this came the first feelings of a journey nearing its end, a sense of disappointment settling upon us, that we were leaving behind something primordial, majestic, aloof to our cares, a landscape, in the words of Jane Hutton, preconditioned, tempered, and altered by ongoing action outside of human control. Walking back into the village, we felt a sense of nostalgia for the wild and untamable landscape that we had just left behind. Gone was the feeling of mystery and awe, replaced by a sense of the familiar, as the sky became framed once again by the architectural human shapes of rooftops, trees now playing a supporting role in the background. We were struck by the fact, that one simply would not know that such a dramatic landscape lay just beyond the houses, giving the journey we had just been on a dream-like quality.